John Warlters, the CEO of Rural Aid. Great to have you with us on Flow today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Ricky. Really appreciate it.
Now, your organisation, Rural Aid, for listeners that might not be familiar with you, just tell us a bit about what Rural Aid, why it came into existence and what it does.
Well, Rural Aid's really well known for the support that it provides to farming families and rural communities, particularly in times of disaster. And drought was the absolutely the catalyst for Rural Aid to come into existence. And a lot of people know us for the Buy a Bale campaign, and it was a way that people were able to make a donation to Rural Aid in support of those farming families being impacted by drought. And since that time, we've gone on to play a really important role helping out not just drought, but bushfires and floods and mice plagues and all that sort of stuff. But we also have a really important program within Rural Aid called Stronger Futures, which is about Rural Aid getting into communities, helping those towns to be more vibrant and more sustainable, and just to realise the potential of our amazing little bush communities. We do two things, disaster and Stronger Futures.
Yeah, there's no greater illustration of the flux of how things move back and forth on the land than you were helping people buy a bale for farmers not long ago. Now the fodder growers are probably the ones doing it tough. Everyone's got plenty of feed in the paddocks.
Oh, absolutely. And look, things turn so quickly, don't they? Drought, of course, is one of those slow-moving ones that sneaks up on us, and then it becomes such a massive issue, and it takes time for people to get back on their feet and recover. But look, I very naively thought in 2021 we might have a year where we didn't have a whole lot of disaster. And no sooner had thought than we had floods, and then we had the mouse plague, and then we've still got nearly two-thirds of the state in Queensland drought declared at the moment. So there's still plenty of challenges in front of us.
Yeah, and speaking of the mouse plague, you've got a program you're going to be giving out some support for farmers. What's that going to look like?
Look, the program's been underway for a period of time now. We kicked it off back in late June, and it was all about putting $1 million on the table to support those farming families who were doing it tough through the mouse plague. So 1,000 families had the opportunity to receive a $1,000 prepaid Visa card that they would be able to spend in a way that was most helpful for them.
So you've done an assessment process. The farmers, families that are eligible, are those impacted by the mouse plague?
Absolutely. And look, we had a couple of hurdles that we asked people to jump over. And the first one was to register with Rural Aid. And once you're registered with Rural Aid, meant you're able to access all the support and assistance that we provide. And that can be something as simple as, but as incredibly important as being able to have a conversation with one of our accredited counsellors. But it also then opened up the opportunity to be able to access the mouse plague fund, and the response to that has been absolutely huge. And
the positive out of this as well, generous people from all over the country, metropolitan and regional, giving into that fund. The money's going to get spent in regional communities.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Ricky. Look, everything that Rural Aid does is off the back of donations. We get very, very little support from government, and that's okay. Where we get the funds to do the work that we do is from mums and dads, from community groups, from sporting organisations, from businesses big and small, and they all reach into their pocket to provide some money to Rural Aid to allow us to do what we do. And with the mouse plague fund, the $1,000 prepaid Visa card that we send to those applicants, they can spend that however they is going to meet their needs the best. And to your point, very, very often that's spending that $1,000 back into their local community. And we all know how important it is to have that buy local and spend local thinking.
Well, that's a fantastic initiative, very generous to support those farmers, thanks to the generosity of other Australians. If people want to know more about Rural Aid, where can they find out?
Oh, look, it's the best way these days is to jump online. So you go to ruralaid.org.au and you'll find out a whole lot of information about Rural Aid, the work that we do, how you, if you felt like being generous and making a donation, there's also an opportunity to do that. But hopefully when you jump online, you just get a bit of a sense of the work that we do, the importance of it, and the people that we support through that.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, John Warlters, CEO of Rural Aid, for joining us today on Flow.
Thanks so much, Ricky.